So your second book, so exciting. Was this more or less difficult to write? Because I know sometimes authors say that it's like more difficult to write your second book.
The second book was so much harder. It's not even funny. I got my edit notes the day before I left on tour for my debut. So it was me simultaneously meeting people for the very first time, like meeting readers, and them saying how much they love It's Different This Time, and then I would have to get back to the hotel and then write about this couple that wasn't from my debut novel. So it was really, really hard because I feel like everyone loved June and Adam, and I had to write these characters that aren't June and Adam. So I kind of got in my head of thinking, are people gonna like these new characters? So that was, it was really tough.
Okay, where was the inspiration for Let's Kiss and Tell? Because it's like a very big difference from Adam and June.
Yes, very different. I wanted my second book to be something different, just something more fun, sexier. I feel like It's Different This Time was this big, sweeping romance, and Let's Kiss and Tell is more, it still has the same heart, but it's more fun. I just thought of all the rom-coms that I love, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is my favorite rom-com, and I thought, okay, why do I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? And I love the workplace romance, sort of a workplace romance. I love the power imbalance. I love sort of like the fake dating. So it's very much inspired by How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
And both Marsh and Lucy are in like the journalism business. You have background in that, yes.
I do, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I've never been a sex columnist, and I've never been a news writer. Both would have been really fun in a past life, but I've worked in like television journalism, so I feel like I've had adjacent experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, as someone who is quite literally in the business, I was like, oh, numbers, making sure that, your stuff's doing well, is being seen. Like, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm in the room. Like,
yes, because I feel like even when I was working in television and marketing and social, it's like, yeah, you can come up with all these fun ideas, and same, you can write stories that you want to write, but ultimately it's a business and you need people to read the stories or hit the link in bio. So yeah.
With Lucy being a sex columnist, was this sort of like your Carrie Bradshaw dream realized? What kind of research did you do?
Oh gosh, I did so much research. I interviewed a lot of sex columnists, people that were in OnlyFans, or like did OnlyFans work. Is that the proper way to say that? But I interviewed news writers. I just like really, really wanted to make sure that I got the tone right, and I wanted to paint everyone in a very honest but positive light.
Yeah.
I really wanted this story to celebrate women's autonomy, be sex positive, so I wanted to make sure that I was doing that in like the most honest way I could.
Okay. Okay. Did you rewatch Sex and the City though?
I mean, yeah.
How did, this book and, these characters challenge you in a way that maybe your first book didn't, just because of the subjects and everything?
So I think more so than anything, it was the writing experience that challenged me. So my first book I wrote with no intention of being published.
Okay.
I wrote it because I just wanted to write that story, and Let's Kiss and Tell was the first time I had to write anything on a deadline because I had to, knowing people were going to read it, and I think I was going through a lot of imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Of realizing, okay, I am an author now.
Yes. Like, when you kind of have expectations like outside of yourself, that puts a whole other added pressure on as like an individual, as a writer, in any capacity.
Oh my gosh, no, it's so hard. But it's a really big learning opportunity, and I discover a lot about myself, build confidence. I think it was like one of the best things to ever happen to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it was really hard during, but now you're like, wow, I'm really glad that I did this and that it was hard.
Yeah. It's like if I've never ran a marathon, by the way, but I'm assuming, like, I have friends that have trained for marathons, and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then when you finally finish it, you're like, I just feel so accomplished and good about myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like that.
I will say, Let's Kiss and Tell is definitely spicier than It's Different This Time.
Yeah.
What was that kind of process like, amping it up significantly?
Well, it's so funny because she's a sex columnist,
Right.
so I knew going into it that we were going to have a lot of sex on the page, just not even just in the bedroom or in the car, but like just talking about sex. I second guessed a lot of it halfway through writing because it was so much spicier, and this is the thing where I have to learn to write for myself and not my readers, because I was writing it and thinking, oh my gosh, this is so much more spicier than my debut. People aren't gonna like this. But I was like, okay, I can't write something for readers necessarily. Like,
Right.
I have to write for myself and like the truest story to me. So yeah, a lot of sex on the page. I had fun doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that like something that you like put a lot of like planning into, or is it sort of like you loose outlining, once you get rolling, you're just going for it?
Oh my gosh, I wish I could outline. We're just going off vibes all the time. I had a loose outline because I had to, because I was on a deadline. But the sex scenes just came like naturally, honestly. It just like made sense. I
Okay.
feel like Lucy's always horny.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So was Marsh, but
So yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty equal.
yeah.
So do you outline at all, or is it sort of a loose?
It's loose. I have to outline, I have to give a summary or synopsis to my editor just so she knows what I'm writing. But aside from like a high level, like this is what happens, again, we go off vibes.
I was gonna say, we met an author recently who explained their writing process, and she had a 140-page outline.
What?
Yeah.
That's like as long as not as long as a book, but
like I think it was like single spaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
And we were like, well, this is why there's like, it's so like, but every
Yeah.
writer has their own particular like way of working that I think
Everyone's
like
brain is different.
I could never write a 140-page outline about anything, probably.
Well, because at that point you may as well. I'm not second guessing that process, but I couldn't write that much and
Yeah.
not have it be like the actual book, you
Right.
know?
When it comes to the sex scenes, is there one between Lucy and Marsh that was your favorite?
There's a scene where they're in a car. No spoilers, but they don't actually have sex in the car. I think a lot of people think that it's a sex scene, but it's just foreplay, and it's so much fun. Yeah.
Do you think that like sometimes foreplay is hotter than sex?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The minute, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but the minute there's penetration, I'm like out. Like it's everything leading up to it I'm in, and then penetration, I'm like, okay.
Just, okay. Are you more of a June or a Lucy?
Ooh, I think a June.
Okay.
I don't even think I'm really a June, but between the two, I think I'm a June.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
What elements of Lucy are you?
I think I'm sex positive. I think that I'm a romance writer, so I understand sometimes not being taken seriously for
Yeah.
what I write about. So I think I can relate to her on that level, trying to prove yourself and show people that what I'm writing is valuable. But other than that, I mean, Lucy's like a different type of beast. Like she just says everything she wants to say, and she's like unfiltered.
Yeah.
I wish I could be like that.
You know, and we kind of learned throughout, you know, Lucy is very sex positive and whatnot, but she's also got a lot of like internalized, you know, baggage, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
about like how she views relationships and how she views love. And it's messy. And I think a lot of times in the romance genre, we can kind of get lost in like it has to be like a perfect female main character. Like she has to
Yeah.
be like flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like this is kind of showing, again, sort of taking literally words out of the book, but like messy side of relationships.
Yes.
And that how it's not always so cut and dry.
No, and I think that was something that I really, really wanted to portray in this story, because I wrote the big sweeping romance, the one that goes across 12 years, and it's like, you are my person. You are like the Noah to my Allie or the Jack to my Rose. And I wanted to show, not to just readers, but to myself, that that is not the only type of love that exists, especially living in Los Angeles and in the modern world, and just like in the world where there is online dating and there's so many different options, and casual hookups is like a very real thing. I want people to know that a quiet, messy love is also just as valuable, and you can still find that even if you're not finding like your one true person.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think in that same vein, adjacent, it's like you can want love, but also not be allowing yourself to be loved.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much Lucy to a T.
Yes, and it's being in love is scary. Being in love is scary. Telling someone that you love them is scary. Thinking of a commitment and then, you know, going down the rabbit hole thinking someone's going to leave you or someone's going to cheat on you. Like all of these things that you think of late at night when you're falling for someone. Like those are all very real things.
Yeah. Have you I know you sort of were starting this book as soon as like you were going on tour for your first. Have you started thinking about your third? Are you writing it? Like
I am in edits.
What?
Right before I'm about to go on tour. During tour, I will be in edits for my third book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you find the time?
You know, like planes,
yeah,
hotel
okay.
rooms. I don't know. But I never ever complain about it because this truly is like what I love to do. So I remember there were days where I would sit in an office and just be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just write for a living. So now if I'm on a tight deadline or I'm doing all the things, I'm like, bring it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you can say about your third novel?
Oh, this is the first time someone's asking me. It's a romance.
Okay.
It's like a summer coastal romance.
Oh.
And there may or may not be some sort of like love triangle.
Okay. Which is a kind of a first here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A new challenge for you.
New challenge. I hope that I don't edit that out, but as of right now,
okay.
there is one.
Would you ever, like obviously, you know, it's very easy, like write what you know. Would you ever want to sort of maybe have a romance that's kind of based in the world of like television, Hollywood?
I mean,
we're pretty close here, but like,
yeah. I think I wouldn't say never, but sometimes I feel like when I'm writing, if it gets too close to home, then it sort of takes the fun out of it because then I just feel like I'm writing about myself.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, totally. Well, possibly in the future. Have you maybe had discussions with or talked about a possible adaptation of novels?
Oh, there have been conversations.
Okay.
I can't say anything, but if that opportunity were to actually come into fruition, that would be amazing and a dream.
Would you want, like, some books like are better as like one season TV shows or what, or movies? Would you want like It's Different This Time to be a show or a movie versus Let's Kiss and Tell be a show or a movie?
I feel like Let's Kiss and Tell is definitely a movie.
Yeah.
Like I can see that being like a straight up rom-com. It's Different This Time is different. I can see it being like a When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
But I can also see it being a limited series because it takes place over so long and it's also a dual timeline.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with anything.
I would say TV show and for the first and movie for the second.
Great.
I'm going to manifest
Put it
this
out into
for
the
you.
universe.
Yeah. Yes.